Don Schmidt, the Book Kahuna, coming at you with today's publishing tip for the day. You get a twofer. Today, the publishing tip is I had to give my speech tonight at the Speak with Ease Toastmasters Club in Lafayette. Now, I gave speech number 6 in the Competent Communicators book, which is all about using your voice for impact, getting your message across, pregnant pauses, all the different things that can affect a speech and affect your audience through just using the modulation, the tone, pauses of your voice. So, without further ado, here is my speech from tonight. Take it away, Don.
Other trips that I've taken in the past. The first trip, I went to DIA in 2006. I was going back to New York for the holidays. There had been a blizzard, and I was traveling the next day after the blizzard. All the roads were closed, but I expected to get out. When I got to the airport, I got through checking in at Frontier, but the security check was 4 times around the terminal. Wow. I got online, I called my girlfriend in New York, who was tearfully waiting for me to get back for the holidays. I did not get out. I ended up sleeping in DIA. This story is all about some of the best airports you can sleep in. If sometime in the future, there's going to be little signs at different airports that say, Don slept here. I finally got out of DIA, made it back to New York, but it was a 33-hour trip from one end to the other. Fast forward a couple of years, have a job interview in Chicago. Company wants me to come out and talk to them. They have a big executive position for me in publishing. Fly me out on 747. It's right after Thanksgiving. There's been a big snowstorm. We're held up here for like 2 or 3 hours in the plane. We're in the plane, number 1, crying baby. We're in a tube with a crying baby for hours and hours and hours. That's not the worst part. The overhead blower is on. I've got a guy sitting right in the line of fire of the blower who doesn't believe in deodorant. Never heard of it, antiperspirant, no, don't know what it is. So this is blowing at me. Finally, I figured out that I could actually position my blower to like kind of intercept the air like a Patriot missile and like kind of divert it away so I wouldn't have to smell this, okay? That was the Chicago trip. Fast forward again, 2012. This is May. I go back to New York to graduate from Pace University, get my master's degree. We stay for a week. My fiance leaves. I'm taking a different flight that's going to go through a connection at Dulles. There's a thunderstorm and a hailstorm at LaGuardia. We're delayed an hour and a half. We take off, we get to Dulles. My connecting flight is gone. I'm in Dulles, so I sleep in Dulles. Now, Dulles is actually a nice place. It's a good place to go through. You don't really want to sleep there. The one thing that a lot of these airports have as a problem is that all of the vendors shut down at like midnight. There's nobody there. There are no vending machines in a lot of these airports. you can't find a bag of chips, a Coke, anything to eat. So you're stuck. So it's not so much that you're stuck there to sleep there, but you can't even get something to eat while you're waiting if you wanted to. Fast forward again. Last week, all of the tornadoes, everything that happened in the West, terrible, you know, everything that happened. We take off out of DIA, and to backtrack one thing, I had a carry-on bag that I use in my vending business. It's got a screwdriver in the bottom of the bag, okay? I forgot to take it out. It went through security twice, and nobody stopped me, okay? I got to Pittsburgh, or got to Morgantown, West Virginia, started going through my bag, reached into the bottom, and I was like, oh, wow. And I pulled it out, and I said, okay, I'm just gonna put it back in, see what happens. I got through security twice with a screwdriver in my bag. Okay, so we have all of the weather going on. Take off, the fasten seatbelt sign stays on the whole time. We get to Pittsburgh. It was one of the bumpiest, nastiest rides I've ever, I mean, they couldn't have a better ride. It was Space Mountain times 10. We get there, land, everything goes okay with that. Go give my presentation. Next day, I'm on my way back. Now, I had thought my interview process was going to be longer, and the presentation was going to be longer with all the people that I had to meet with. And what ended up happening was it was a lot shorter, but I had planned out my travel back with a connection flight through Chicago. I take off. We're about 30 minutes late out of Pittsburgh. We get to Chicago at 8. My connecting flight is at 8:50. We're on the ground. We landed. Okay? We could not get into a gate. All of the gates were full. We sat for 45 minutes to an hour on the runway because they couldn't get us into a gate. And that's how I missed my connecting flight. Luckily, this went through a travel bureau through the university. They were already calling me to tell me, we noticed that you missed your flight. We've already got you scheduled on another flight. But it's 8:25 the next morning. The one thing I have to tell you, and this is what I will leave you with tonight, those TSA benches, they're really comfortable.